So hello, I'm Tom, and Koen and I, together with actually the founders of BruCON, we're going to give you a small introduction for the 10th edition. As I'm sure you know, it's our anniversary edition, being the 10th. And we have prepared some slides, a little bit last minute. It's going to be some improv, but we want to explain you a bit what happened over the last 10 years, and also what BruCON has all become. Quickly, some heads up. So we are recording, and this is actually live streaming already right now. So essentially, the people who are sitting somewhat here will be in the viewing point. So if you don't want to be streamed or recorded, don't sit here. Everything over there should be fine. I'm just saying, because privacy and stuff. So that would be the first on the practical side of things. So I actually want to start with giving the mic to the founders of BruCON and let them introduce themselves. So Benny, since you have the mic, I would suggest to start.
So my name is Benny Ketelslegers. Like I said, I was one of the founding members together with these fine gentlemen here. Nowadays I work as a threat researcher for Cisco Talos.
Hi, I'm Philip Whitens. As you can see, one of the five here. And I'm working for a four-letter organization.
So I'm Sebastian de Leersnijder, or Seba. Also, obviously, one of the guys who started it, otherwise I would not be here. I also started a couple of other things. One of it is Torion, the company we have here in the booth as well.
Hi, I'm Philip, one of these guys. Currently working for a startup in Silicon Valley, AVI Networks. And together with these guys, we've been doing this for 10 years. So thanks for being here.
Hello, my name is Peter. I work for a 13-letter organization startup. I haven't been here for more than 7 years. And I think I flew about 26 hours to fucking get here, which is a long journey.
Thanks for that one.
So, would any of you guys actually can anybody comment on why you guys started it? Do you have like something you can share about why you started BruCON?
So as far as my recollection goes, being passionate about security, most of us, we loved going to security conferences for the talks, meeting other people. I think the biggest one in Europe is the CCC, which used to be in Berlin. So especially Peter, I would always bump into him and some other Belgians. So these became like usual suspects. And of course, being a good Belgian, having a beer, we were like, you know, France has one, Netherlands has one, Germany has one, but why don't we have one in Belgium? We have our own technology here, we have some good people here. So yeah, like over a beer, we said like, let's try to organize one in Belgium, but we can't do this by ourselves. Yeah, so we went out to people that we knew, contacts, other community leaders like OWASP. So yeah, the five of us, we got together again over a beer, and we started discussing it, and that's how the ball got rolling. And at first it wasn't easy. We never done something like that before. So we reached out to other organizers, kind of collect information, and we wanted to keep it accessible, like a community event. So we wanted to not do it too commercially, too expensive. So we needed volunteers for that. And also a big challenge to find those volunteers, like an unknown conference. So the first year was pretty tough. But yeah, we did a second one, and more people started showing up. I think this is actually one of the first volunteers to show up ever. And I think it's one of the few that did every edition. So Xavier, I have to thank him for all. But I don't want to mention too many names because there's so many people that have to be thanked for that and still doing that today. So that's my point of view into the history of BruCON. If you guys want to add something.
That's correct, Benny.
Yeah, I think definitely we all shared a little bit the same idea of starting it up. One of the things that made it happen is that we had the opportunity, and I was still working with Lindus then, that they sponsored the first venue. Because we literally started with €0, so we had to do it somewhere. So the first edition was in the surf house, which was very fun. Also, the reason that it's called BruCON is because it was Brussels Con. So, but we didn't change the name to GECON. That would be a little bit weird.
The thing I recall for the most, that's not the reason why we started it, was that we were all baking French fries in front of the surf house.
Yeah.
I swear that was one of the biggest anecdotes ever happened at BruCON. But it was a challenge to bake for, I think, 300 people, French fries.
The tractor that came over.
Yeah, it was even with a tractor. So
In Brussels.
I don't know if somebody here actually calls that, but it was like very big fun. But Peter.
And I think one of the potential names we had was BeerCon, no? Which we scratched and we replaced to BruCON.
Oh, really?
And Beacon as well.
Beacon.
Yeah.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. BeerCon, BelgiumCon. Yeah.
So essentially, I mean, I think we can also conclude you guys essentially started it to have a reason to get away from your partners and drink and then talk about cybersecurity.
Maybe.
Maybe.
We're not going to confirm that.
We're going to confirm nor deny that, I guess. Yeah. So, okay. Actually, I wanted to do, because we've been talking now about 10 years, right? And I wanted to ask everybody to participate because I actually want to get a view on things. Can I ask everybody to stand up for me? It's a quick check. Because I'm really curious to get to see how many people actually have attended how many editions. So if this is your first edition, please go and sit. Okay. Okay, now we're talking. Is it your second edition? Please take a seat. So I'm going up there.
You guys as well?
Third. Still people standing up, that's good. Fourth. Yes. Fifth. Yeah, Xavier, you can keep standing up, I know. Sixth. 7.
Now I also have to sit down.
Yeah, I also have to start sitting down, to be honest. So, are there still people? I see Trey, obviously.
Yeah.
Still people standing up. 8. Can we continue?
Yeah.
Well, 9, and then we're all out. So, thanks. It actually gave us somewhat of a picture.
The 10th?
Oh.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Really, sorry, I didn't see you there. So a lot of newcomers, apparently. So you're here, as I said, in for a treat because you're already here at the 10th edition. So let's hope that we learned something over these last 9 years and 10 years now, and that we bring you a full experience. So we prepared some slides to go through a little bit to talk about the history. Perhaps we can go on that one. So this is essentially, it's what I found back. This is the first blog post on January 25th of 2009. I guess you cannot really read it that well, but essentially it's referring to your blog, Xavier, by the way. So you can consider this. This can be considered as the official launch of the event. This is what the blog post said. It's a hacker conference. It explains hackers. It's still the thing that's still on our website, by the way. So this is the first thing I found back. So let's consider it the birth of the organization, the 25th of January. Actually, if you continue, this is how the website looked like. And honestly, if you recall the website of a couple of months back, it still looked like this. So it took us quite a while to get to a new website. And there's a whole story behind that, but we need some beers to start explaining that one. So we actually sticked with the same website for many years. It was vulnerable as hell, so we didn't patch it. I mean, if somebody really started it, not always. It was hard to. The only reason we didn't patch it because then the team was no longer compatible with the latest edition. The latest version. So we have the same thing that companies have issues with patching. So this is essentially how the first website looked like. There are pretty old icons on there, but as I said, it's the website that lasted until last year, and then finally we found some time to renew that one. And you guys talked about the first edition. It was at the Belgium surf house back then. we just found some pictures there, how it actually looked like. I think the atmosphere and the way you guys did it the first year, I think we can represent a little bit what we're doing here right now. It was special lighting, it's a very special place to be. A lot of international people who came there liked the environment, liked the way that you guys handled it. So this is a little bit just to paint a picture of what you guys brought. And we actually, I found back an after video of the first edition. I don't know if you guys knew that existed. Somebody made an after video of the first edition. It's pretty long, 6 minutes, but you know what, we're just gonna start it.
If there's time at the end.
If there's time at the end, we have scheduled at the end. And anyway, it's on YouTube, and it just, you guys all get into the picture, and you look much younger then. Sorry, sorry about that. So that's about it. So that's more or less the first edition. So that was in Brussels. I think we did 2 years over there, right?
Yeah.
And then the venue was no longer available, and then we had to move to the VUB.
Well,
So please take the mic, Seba, if you...
No, we have some stories here that we said over the edition. So the first edition, Philip already mentioned the fritkot. So there was no food. I wasn't there, so correct me if I'm wrong. There was no food at the venue, so you guys had to drag in a fry shop, and you were baking your own fries in there.
Tractor on the highway.
Tractor on the highway.
Okay, tractor on the highway, got the fritkot over there. And who was the guy in charge of baking all the fries? The girl? Benny?
It was Benny.
Yeah.
Okay.
So from there on, I heard there was no storage space, so all the material was in the basement of Marijke. Everything had to be dragged down from there, up all the stairs, into vans, into cars, trying to get it to the venue. Then we moved on to the VUB. A nice venue with over 9,000 entrances that all needed to be guarded for people not to go in, go out, run away with material. That's my first edition. I remember you dragging me in like, we need more people, can't you help out here? And unfortunately I said yes, and now we are here 7 years later. If you guys have more anecdotes on any edition.
So where's the story of that German guy that ended up in hospital the day before he was speaking? Because who, Marius?
That one.
That was Mario Heidrich, yes.
Oh, yeah.
And what? Tell the story now. Now the name is out anyway. So
He was in hospital after probably having too much Belgian beers. Yes. Yeah, you should think that Germans can hold their drinks.
Yeah. So then after the VUB, went to Ghent, this venue here. So it was BruCON 4.
yeah.
A complete new city, complete new venue. The workshop spaces were in Het Pand, so a bit further even than Novotel now, with their own difficulties. Training took place in the Monasterium.
In the monastery, sure. In a very old hotel slash venue.
With some Wi-Fi.
With some Wi-Fi, yeah. Occasionally Wi-Fi. Yeah, it was the first time we came to Ghent, and I know Seba and I know we were staking out the locations where we could actually host a venue, and I know when we did a visit of this one together, and I recall that we arrived here, we were like, okay, this is it. Sorry, this is it. This was perfect for what we want to do. We have this room. It's a very old building, but it has enough room for the people we want. We have a nice location to socialize for the sponsors. We have the village area next to it. It was immediately perfect. We would obviously like to have a location where we could also do the workshops on site, but yeah, you cannot find something like that with then still smaller breakout rooms. But this is what we needed, and we've been staying with that for the last 7 years then.
Yeah, the thing that we noticed the first year is we had some issues with parking outside.
Yes.
We asked the police to set up some parking spots, and then they came because we couldn't park there.
Yeah, and there's, I don't know, it will come, we didn't really mention it big, for the people who are around here, who are from around, I would say, and know how difficult it is to drive around Ghent. I mean, I guess most of you guys know where the workshops are. It's at the Novotel, right? So that's where we stay. And it's walking distance, I mean, 2 minutes. I mean, time takes you 2 minutes and you're there. It took us once an hour and a half to drive from there to here.
That's over here.
Xavier had to do it. So, I mean, just to, we had a lot of boxes. We said, like, yeah, let's do it with the car. It's easier. So you had to haul the way to the ring of Ghent and come back. And with all the traffic, an hour and a half for something you walk, I mean, 2 minutes top. So it comes, every city comes with its own challenges. And from logistic purposes and parking purposes, it's always been a challenge.
Yeah. 5th edition, we had a trainer who fell asleep while teaching his course.
So
that's always nice.
I've been taking up the training coordination for the last couple of the years, actually, and there's this one edition where the trainers actually fall asleep when he was giving his course. And so some of the students came up to me like, hey, you know what? The trainer is asleep. I was like, no way. So I went to the training room, and the guy was literally sitting there. There were 20 students, so we had a pretty full room. He's literally sitting there and sleeping like that. It's the same guy, by the way, who then the next day he had to present here at the conference, and he arrived like 1 minute before his talk. Literally 1 minute. He was at the registration desk 1 minute before he's supposed to talk. And we were like, dude, where were you? I'm on time. 1 minute, come on, get your ass on stage. Are you ready? Do you have your slides? Yeah, I have them somewhere. I mean, come on, those are always practical stuff you have to take care of. But anyway, and then the year after that, and I remember it was Philip who arranged that to get Mats here for a Kali workshop. So he's one of the founders of Kali, I can say, I guess, the founder. And Philip got him over here to do a one-day training on Kali, which we were very happy about. Obviously, it's very cool. And then 2 days before, he called you, or 3 days before, I don't recall, saying like, hey, I need to go to the hospital because I need to get my appendix removed. Okay, we have 35 students scheduled for you on Wednesday. Will you make it? Well, we'll see. And that's the uncertainty that we had to live with, right? So eventually he arrived. He still had some medication to go on, and he survived. The course went on. But I mean, these are the challenges. And one of the stories, many stories we had at BruCON.
Next year, on our party, we had a DJ who got way too drunk. It's always fun when a drunk DJ wants to party. And of course, that year we decided that doing one conference wasn't enough. So we started Cyber School, a conference for kids just so we had some work to do during the weeks before BruCON. That's now going on since 4 years as well.
And okay, now another thing. At the 8th edition, Club Mate, whose idea is it to have that here? Come on. Who? Benny. Seriously? So can I get a show of hands who actually likes that? Because as a crew member, I've been trying to get rid of it, but there's always one guy who's just like, no, I veto this. Yeah, we need to keep it. And I'm always like, it's ashtray water. Come on, it doesn't taste all good. Okay, seriously, is it only me?
So if there wouldn't have been Club Mate, the 1st edition would have never happened.
Would have never happened. Okay, so okay, so fair enough.
We used to drive to Germany to get the Club Mate. Then we found a store in near to Leuven who had Club Mate like 4 years ago, and then 3 years ago I found out that there is a store like right across the street who also has Club Mate.
So we were renting vans, getting it over from Germany to Leuven, bringing it here, but then we realized we could just pick it up at the store here, right around the corner.
So the Wall of Sheep has also been going on since several years, and last year Xavier was so kind to implement a skin filter. So what did you guys do? I saw some blue porn, some Smurfs on there, some zombies, some furniture. Always nice.
So there's always a cat and mouse game going on. Xavier changes the filter to detect some other stuff. You guys found some other stuff to get on a Wall of Sheep. It's a cat and mouse game. It will continue. So it's fun, absolutely.
And then now, the 10th edition, we had a crazy idea of making something like this. More information later. Someone had a crazy idea to do a 3-day conference.
Yes. And I'm sorry? Yeah, I know.
And we still had some parking issues, like you see it on the list, like every year here in Ghent, we always had nice visits from the police. I think last year was the best one. We had 3 different police officers coming by, 3 different explanations on how we should arrange the parking signs, which signs to have, where to park. So very fun. Yeah, but the previous guy said this. No, it should be like this. And one of the 3 was the same. We got parking fines while we were legally parked in here. Well, we just accept this. It's impossible to change Ghent for that one, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess the next thing is the badges. You can see.
First thing you have to say, I want a big round of applause for Jean-Georges Fall. He designed this badge. It's almost a one-man job. All the designs, all the component picking was all done by him. Yesterday and the day before, we had help for some soldiers. You see them on the right, soldering the last components on there. The screens need to put on there, the batteries. So thanks for them. Otherwise, we wouldn't even have this one. Then yesterday evening, I think at 2 or 3 a.m., we found the last issue that is now resolved. So the firmware to have all the functionality of the badge will be released soon. We're working on the last kinks. Important for you guys, try to charge your battery tonight. It's just micro USB. Charge it for 4 to 5 hours at least, and then tomorrow you'll get a new firmware on there. If it's released earlier, we'll tweet it out. We'll also show you how to do it, and we will have a flashing station in the ICS village, and then all functionality should be there. We love Chinese suppliers. Thank God for their shipping times, for customs, for saying we get this component and then getting a different one and not shipping enough. You gotta love these people. But I have to say, for me it looks nice. We did something else this year. Yes.
So, again, we set up some new ideas for the 10th edition. When we were brainstorming this 10th edition, obviously we had like, okay, we need to have the founders here, right? So those were one of the key things. But we also, like, we've always been saying hacking for beer, but we've never had our own beer. So why don't we do this? And then we started. Obviously, there was a lot of tasting involved. We needed to select a very good beer.
QA, Tom,
QA, quality control. And also, again, with the necessary hiccups and the necessary issues with getting it all arranged, getting the labels on it, getting everything approved and so forth. But we managed to get it here on time.
Yeah, so it is beer whiskey infused beer. So they brew the beer, and then out of the leftovers, they distill whiskey, and that whiskey is infused in this beer to get like a nice round 10% alcohol percentage for the 10th edition. We will be selling it at the bar. I'm saying the 10%.
Pay attention.
We are also selling gift bags, special edition ones with BruCON engraved glasses, and a bottle of beer. So feel free to taste the beer, and if you like it, grab some for home. If you are traveling by plane, we have bubble wrap and everything to wrap it up so that nothing breaks.
So I think all of the new things we want to bring, the 3 years, I think we explained already. We have a slide how we came to the 3 years talk selection, right? The special retro thing, is it still coming? Okay, so I guess one of the most important things which we definitely want to address, and obviously by starting to make a list, there's a chance that you'll forget somebody. So I'll already start with an apology for people and we might have forgotten. But we hope we can summarize somewhat. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
We were able to summarize. Yeah, here we go. So we really hope we were able to summarize and get everybody on there, on the slide, who was somewhat involved. Obviously, we cannot list all the volunteers, which are more important than ever. Without them, we would never be able to do that.
So you see here, we have the founders. You guys founded it with a few people. Our current crew, you see listed there. So Philippe is still in the crew. Then we have myself, we have Stefan, Matt. Some people are still working, so they're manning the registration booth. Tom here, Xavier, Jochen, Peter, Larry, who's in Sydney. We have Stephanie, we have Bertrand there standing at the back, and we have Marijke. We have a few people who really put in a lot of effort during the years. And for that we have Jon Olvoet, Clement Hersens, Jasmina Charlier, she does most of our administration. We have Trey, Peter van Overschelde, who did for years all the speakers. We have Philip, and we will be forgetting people. And we have Didier Stevens. He's the only one who spoke or gave a workshop at all BruCons. Yes. And so Didier is still giving a training at this moment.
Yeah, Philip, you wanted to say something?
Guys, give a big hand for applause. These guys in a purple shirt. You don't know how much time they've put into BruCON 10. You cannot believe it, but I think it's at least 12 months full time. Certainly the guys that helped out yesterday with the badges. Swear it, the stress level was very high. But they did a great job. I'm not going to read all the names, but know these guys which are in front of you, they do a hell of a job. And they promised me right now that they will take BruCON to the next level and they will continue to do it. Otherwise, that would not be BruCON. So give a big hand for these guys. Thanks.
Cheers, guys. Thanks. Thank you, Philip.
So we also want to thank all the volunteers here, because without them it wouldn't be possible. We had someone who chose a very nice color for the volunteer shirts, so we'll always be able to find them. They're nicely pink. So thank you as well, volunteers.
And I guess something I think I mentioned last year during the opening, but I think we also need to give a thanks to the people who come to BruCON. I mean, this year again, we sold out in a month without even having a schedule online. I mean, people buy tickets without knowing who's going to come and talk. That is actually, for us, a confirmation that we're doing the right thing, because you guys want to come anyway because of the way that we try to organize, and I guess you have somewhat of trust in our selection of getting good speakers, good talks, good workshops here to Ghent. So we couldn't obviously do this without you guys, and we're doing it for you, and we get this kind of feedback back. So if you see these people in these type of shirts, or any volunteers, or go up to the founders, and you have some feedback to share, positive or things you would like to see to improve, come and talk to us. We really want to take this forward, and we really want to improve even more. So thank you for that.
We have some scheduled things. Check sched.org or the website. That's up to date. So if there are any changes, we'll publish it there. We have the links on our website. We will be adding some additional workshops. They will be added in about 30 minutes. We will release them at 11 sharp today. So if you want to attend some more workshops, try to register on those. We had the bad news that we had to cancel the Mimikatz workshop, but it will be taken over by Nikhil, who will be giving an awesome ID workshop. We also had one cancel for the Retro Day today. Chris Nickerson, he couldn't join. Something urgent came in between, but we moved up all the things, so we're still looking forward to an awesome schedule. Tonight there will be a mentor-mentee night. The goal of that night is to mingle around. There will be able to get stickers if you want to be a mentor, or if you're looking for a mentor. Please wear the stickers and talk to each other. It's always nice to see people outside of your own work bubble, and just to see if you want maybe help someone out who's new or starting or want to change maybe somewhere in the field. Please show up at the Novotel bar. We will also be recording a Nerdland podcast here in this hall. It's a Flemish podcast that will be done in English for the first time now by Lieve Scheire, Jeroen Baert. Some people might know them. So that will be just here later tonight. It's also in the schedule. Tomorrow evening there will be the party. We changed venues. It will now be on a boat. Don't fall in the water, please. Or be sure you can swim.
So the Retro Day, again, one of these ideas. It actually, I think it came from Xavier, right? You were the one who came up with the idea to have people vote. Yeah. So Xavier came up with the idea. Why don't we let people vote and vote which talk they liked most over the last 9 years, and based upon the most popular talks, let's re-invite them and let them do a retro talk. Like essentially do the same talk they did back then with some additional slides, or let's show that security has evolved. Let's try to bring that. So it took a lot of effort getting all the descriptions, everything on one in one place where people were allowed to vote. So we allowed people to vote, give them their preference for the talks. There was even like some winner and contest, so some people even got free tickets to BruCON, got a free training, depending on well, the winners obviously from the voting system. And then we re-invited all of these speakers, and these are the speakers you're going to see today. Essentially, they will bring something that already has been presented. Could be 9 years ago, could be 5 years ago, and they essentially we asked them to bring more or less the same talk on the same topic and explain us how it evolved. So what has changed over the last couple of years? And so this is essentially the way today. This is what you're going to see today. You'll see the schedule over here. Do go on the schedule website to get all the details and description on there as well. And this is what you can expect today. So this is something new, a new experiment, the third day to our conference. And we're really, really looking forward to this. I know I've been talking to some, I see Stefan already looking at me, to some, and he's prepared some really cool stuff. So I'm really excited about this day. And because I really want to end up with a positive note and get a good feeling about the fact that we evolved as an infosec community and that we managed to solve the problem somewhat. Not completely, but at least a little bit.
Okay, so I think we can stop it. We ran a bit late, so sorry, Matti, for this one. Small announcement first. It's not allowed to have drinks or food in this hall, so no one saw this. We will have someone guarding the door. No. Thanks again for being here, for starting it all. Thanks the current crew for organizing it. Thank you for being here. Our retro speakers for coming back, and all the new talks we're going to see tomorrow and the day after. Guys, enjoy, and thank you for being at BruCON again.